Hey guys, Tankmaster here, welcome back to another video, and today we're on beautiful Tanoa in Arma 3, and we're going to be checking out the BAF Weapons Mod by 3CB. Now BAF obviously means British Armed Forces, and I actually have done a review of the vehicles from the BAF mod, but now we're doing the weapons. So, I've got all of this set up, got nice targets, got tables to put the guns on when firing, and let's get into it. So the first one actually doesn't really fire. It is the L110 A2 DP. Now DP means drill purpose or drill practice. This gun should be unable to fire, or should not be able to fire, and that white part indicates that it's a drill purpose gun. It's disarmed, you can't fire it. Although in this game, you can. Doesn't do anything, but you can fire it. It's pretty useless though. This is actually an SA-80 variant, so you'll be seeing more of those down the line of boxes soon. So moving on, we move on. No, yes, we do move on to the L110 series. Here we have the L110 7.62 LMG, the L110 A1. There's meant to be an L110 A2 here, however I couldn't fit it in. And then we have the L110 A3. Now, some of you may also recognise this, as it is known as the M249 SAW. If this particular gun fires 7.62mm rounds in a 100 round box magazine, sorry. Fires 800 rounds per minute, and it was first put into service in 1984. Let's hear it fire. So as you can see, the reloading animation is actually quite good on this gun. Let's see how it compares to the L18, the L10, no, the L1100, no, I keep getting that wrong, it's the L110 A1, sorry guys, it should sound the same. Actually, there's a slight difference there, I don't know whether you could hear it or not, but there is a slight difference. And the reloading animation is exactly the same. Now, the difference between the L10, the L110A1 and the L110A3, and A2 for that matter, is barely anything. It's the same amount of everything. Pretty much look the same, there's just like minor differences that you will notice in between them. So as soon as my character finishes reloading, we'll move on to the next gun, which is known as, oh hold on, put that box back in there, which is known as the L115A3. Now there are actually not really it's not multiple variants, but multiple styles. You can either have regular, which is a greenish colour, you can have sand, or you can have black. So it's also known as an AWM, like an AWP, as everyone knows. It fires 8.6mm rounds in a 5-round magazine. It was first put into service into the British Army in 1996. Let's hear it fire. So as you could see, there was a bit of a weird reloading animation. The fact that his hand just does not pull the bolt back when reloading. It's a bit strange. But here we have a sand variant as well as the ghillie variant, which has this little tuft of grass on the front, as you can see there. So it sounds exactly the same, so I'm not going to bore you guys with the sound test. But now we move on. Oh, it didn't go in, did it? Nope. Now we move on to the L110 A1. Here it is. This is known as the AWC. It's like an AWM or an AWP, which does not come in this game, sadly. It fires 7.62mm rounds in a 10-round magazine, and it was first put in service in 1990s. Let's hear it. Now, as you can tell, that's a suppressed variant, which I did not know. So that's actually suppressed compared to the AWM. So, moving on, we have the L119 series. 4 guns, as you can see here. We have the base L119, we have the L119A1 Close Quarters Combat, we have the L119A1 UK UGL, which has a grenade launcher at the front, and we have the L119A1 with a front grip. Now, for the sake of it, I'm going to test out 2 of them. I'm going to test out the Close Quarters Combat version first, and then we'll move on to the grenade launcher variant. Now, a couple of facts, because who doesn't love facts? It's also known as the Colt Canada 7. It fires 5.56mm rounds in a 30-round magazine. And on the grenade launcher variant, it has a 40mm grenade on it. It fires 800 rounds per minute, and it was first put in service in 1984. Let's listen to it. I think that's enough of that. I quite like the style of this gun. It fits nicely in the character's hands as well. So I believe it's that one. Yep. Now we move on to the UK UGL variant. So I have not picked up grenades. It's very important. Let's pick up 2 of them, and I'll show you the damage that it does. So we'll start off with a basic fire test. And I've actually managed to injure myself there, which is not good. What damage did I do? Ah, I'm bleeding. Minor revulsion. Just gonna quickly grab some medical equipment. Packing bandage will do. Medical, right arm, packing bandage. I should probably get some morphine as well. I'm injured. Can't have that doing anything to sway my terrible aim. Where is it? That's andesine, EpiPen. There we are, morphine. Medical. Left leg, because who the hell needs consistency? And the morphine has been injected. So let's see it one more time. There we are. Very big explosion, and as you can see, it landed about there, and it got me all the way over here, so it's got pretty good range. It's also knocked this box. Oh, who would have thought that would happen? Alright, that's later. So yeah, there's also a close quarters combat version as well as a front grip version. Moving on, we have the L128 A1 shotgun, which is also known as the Benelli M4. This gun fires 12 gauge buckshot, and you get 8 rounds per ammunition stack you pick up. It was first put into service in 1999. Let's hear it. As you can see, the spread is quite good on this. So it's definitely one that you would want if you're ever in a shotgun battle. Moving on, we have the L129 A1. Now this semi-automatic rifle fires 7.62mm rounds in a 20 round magazine, and it was first put in service in 2010. Let's hear it. Now, as you can see as I stood up, the recoil on this gun is horrendous. Sure, it puts it back into position after you fire it, however, the amount of recoil that there is just horrible. Now, time for a big gun, the L135 A1 LRPAS. Now, some of you may recognise this gun. It's also known as the Beret M82. It fires 12.7mm rounds, which is also known as a 50 caliber round, and was first put in service in 1989. Let's hear it. Sadly, the reloading animation is kind of broken, but just look at the barrel. It actually goes in when firing. Now again, also I would like to add that the sound is not fitting of a Beret M82. Like, everyone expects it to be like, boom, like really monstrous sounding, but it just isn't. And that's really a shame. Anyway, moving on, we have the L1A1 SLR. Now you can either get this in an L1A1 SLR or an L1A1 SLR with a wooden stock. Now you're probably wondering, what does SLR mean? Well, it means self-loading rifle. This gun is actually an upgraded version of the FN-FAL, which is a fairly popular gun. It fires 7.62mm rounds in a 20 round magazine, and it was first put in service in 1954. Let's hear it. Now, as I'm sure you saw, the reloading animation is quite crisp on this particular gun. Let's have a look at the wooden stock. No need to fire this one, but we can have a look at it. Ooh, look at all that wood. Ooh, wood. Anyway, let's put that back, as well as its ammunition. And let's move on to the L22 and the L22A2. Now, this is actually another SA80 sort of version, I mean. So it won't be too different to the cadet variant, although this is a carbine, so it'll be a little bit stubbier, and should be easier to control around corners. Anyway, let's give the L22 a go. Also, some facts. It fires 5.56mm rounds, and it has a 30 round magazine. It does 650 rounds per minute, and it was first brought into service in 1985, as all the SA-80 rifles will. Let's see, have a look at, and fire the L22A2 now. And I think that's enough of that. Keep pressing the wrong button. So, moving on, we now have the L7A2 GPMG. Now I'll take the tracer belt, which we have 2 of, so that you can properly get a grasp of the reloading animation. However, first some facts. This is also known as the FN mag or the N240. It fires 7.62mm rounds on a 100 round belt. It fires 1,000 rounds per minute, and it was first put in service in 1958. Let's hear it. And there you can see we have some magical disappearing and reappearing ammunition there. It's always fun when you have that. So altogether, a really nice gun, a really nice machine gun as well. Now, the fun guns. We move on to the SA-80 variants, all of them, also known as the L85A2, the L85A2 EMAG, the L85A2 RIS, the L85A2 with an L123A2 ladder, the L85A2 with an L123A3 HWS, the L85A3 and the L85A3 with an L123A2 ladder. Ooh, I hate those numbers. Anyway, let's test out the EMAG variant. Then we'll go to the ladder variant. Actually, no, we'll do the HWS variant. And then we'll do these two, the L85A3s. Let's get the EMAG out. So, just some boring information before I do the firing demo. EMAG actually means the mag pull magazine, which means that it's easier and quicker for the magazine to get pulled out. RIS also means rail integration system. Just for those wondering. It fires 5.56mm rounds in a 30 round magazine and has a 40mm grenade for the optional grenade launcher. Fires 650 rounds per minute, and it was first put in service in 1985, as all of the SA-80s were. Let's hear it. There we are. Now to the next SA-80 variant. We have the L85A2 with an L123A3 HWS. Let's grab 2 grenades for this. And we'll get that set up. Show you the reloading animation. Let's hear it. Moving on, we have the L85A3 free. Let's get that. Now I prefer this look much more than I do the L85A2. Just looks so much more sleeker and battle ready rather than the plasticky look that the A2 has. Let's hear it. There we are, firing test done. Now the last L85A2, well, actually the last L85 is the one with the, where is it? There it is, the ladder. I was just going to shorten it to that. So again, same sleekish design, same reloading animation. So let's hear it. There we are. So, moving on to the next gun, it is the L86 A2 LSW and the L86 A2 RIS DMR. Now these are again SA80 variants, sadly, although the LSW on this means that it's a light support weapon, and the DMR on the other variant means designated marksman rifle. This gun fires 5.56mm rounds in a 30 round magazine, and it does 770 rounds per minute. Its first point of service in 1985, and let's hear it. Time to go to the next weapon, the L86A2 RIS DMR. It's pretty much the same, you know, not really any difference apart from visually. It's much stubbier than the LSW, but let's hear it. Right, that's all for the carbon copies of the L85. Now we have some interesting weapons. We have the L110 LMG, which, as some of you may recognise, is also known as the MP5. This gun fires a 9mm round and has a 30 round magazine. It fires 900 rounds per minute and it was first put in service in 1966. But let's hear it. Also, I want you guys to pay extra attention to this weapon and the one next to it, because they sound very different, although they're pretty similar. Hope you've all got that sound in mind. Moving on, we have the the L92 A1, which is the suppressed variant of the MP5. Exactly the same stats, just it's quieter, so let's hear it. Now, it may just be me, but I feel that that fired faster than the regular MP5. The stats say it didn't, but I feel it has. Now, I know before I said last of the SA80 variants, but there's one more. The L98A2 Cadet GP. Now, GP means general purpose, meaning that it's a general purpose rifle. It fires 5.56mm rounds in a 30 round magazine, 610 rounds per minute, and it was first put in service in 1985, but is no longer in service since 2009. Now, I know you guys want to hear it and see it, but a little backstory. You're going to notice that in the top corner, where it has like my character, you're going to notice that before it allows you to fire a second round, it goes red and then orange. Now, because the cadets weren't allowed fully or even semi-automatic weapons, it has to have a blocking system in it, which means that you can limit how quickly it fires. But anyway, let's hear it. So, as you can see, a pain to fire, really slow. Feel sorry for those cadets that had to use this. So, moving on, we now have the pistols, which, oh, the pistols are always fun. We have the L105A1 and the L105A2. These are also known as SIG Soya P226s, and they fire 9mm rounds. Actually, let's not get on the table for this one. They have 15 round magazines, and they were first put in service in 1983. Let's hear it. So that was the A1 variant. Wrong gun. Now for the A2 variant. Pretty similar, if I'm being honest. There we are. So that was the L1. Oh, I keep doing that. The L105A1/A2. Moving on, we have the L107A1, which is the one that I kept clicking on. Now, this is pretty much like the SIG P226, but this is known as the SIG Soya P228. Minor differences to the other one. Fires 9mm, still 15 round mags, and it was first put in service again in 1983. Let's see if there's a sound or visual difference. Well, there's obviously a visual difference. Let's see if there's a sound difference. Now, I love the reloading animation on these guns. Like the fact that he pulls out a mag and can't be arsed to put the first mag in his pouch or throw it on the ground before grabbing the second one. It's gotta be quick, you know? I love it. God knows why. Anyway, moving on, we have the L117A1. This is also known as the SIG Soya P229. Minor differences to the P228 and the P226. It fires 9mm rounds and a 15 round magazine still. And again, it was put in service in 1983. Minor visual differences again, but let's see if it sounds different. There we are. Now that's done. Now, the next gun is a gun that a lot of people know. It is the L131A1. Fires 9mm rounds, same as the other guns, but it has a 17 round mag. It was first put in service in 1982, and it looks kind of similar to another gun called the Glock 17, and that's because it is a Glock 17. Sounds like a Glock, looks like a Glock, so let's hear it. Actually, I lied, it doesn't sound like a Glock, it sounds like all the other pistols. They should really do a sound mod for this gun. Also, the reloading animation's broken, sadly. In fact, they should really do a sound mod for all of these guns, because they don't have the best sounding noises, if we're being honest. Anyway, moving on, we have the L9A1, also known as the Browning High Power. It fires 9mm rounds and has a 13 round magazine. It was first put in service in 1935. Now that's a hell of an old gun, but let's hear it. Again, the reloading animation is broken, sadly. I know, they should really get that fixed. Right, moving on to the launchers now. Now, sadly, it's a real shame I could not get these to work. They don't take any ammunition that I could find, and they just wouldn't reload. So, these are non-working, however they're still nice to look at. First off, we have the ILAW HEDP and HP launcher. ILAWs are also known as AT4s. They're single-use tubes, you know, they fire an 84mm single-use rocket. Obviously, single-use, you can't just pick up the dead rocket. HEDP means high explosive dual purpose, and HP means high penetration. Probably, I couldn't actually find out what it meant. But hey ho, not firing it anyway. It was first put in service in 1987. So yeah, look at all that writing. Also, I quite like the sights on these. They look good. So moving on, we have the Javelin tube, the Javelin tube launcher. Now, sadly, as soon as you take it out, he puts it on his back, and you can't actually get it off his back. So you just have to look at it with it on its back. Anyway, it fires a 127mm Javelin missile, and it's single use. It was first put in service in 1996. And you can actually see the missile there. There it is. Although it does not fire, and I can't tell why. It does not give me a reason. So I can't destroy the rest of these targets, sadly. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do subscribe, give it a big thumbs up. The link to the mod will be down in the description, as well as to my Instagram. I know, shameless self-plug. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next video.